Hey everyone, it's Ryan 1940 here. Today we're taking a look at sea power naval combat in the missile age, and this is going to be a guns tutorial. Alright, if you look closely here, I've got 0 SM1s on the kit here, and that is because I want to show you a tactic that might not apply in all scenarios, in all cases, but I think it's something that you should look at when you're thinking about using your guns. I think all of us know that when we use our guns, we're probably using them against bog hammers. We know to use them against bog hammers. We know to use them against torpedo boats, little patrol boats. We even use them against probably those missile boats after they fire their missiles and you want to kill them. You don't want to waste a whole harpoon on them. You don't want to waste your SM1s on them. So you might use your 5-inch or your 76 mil. However, I want to show you that you can also use them against larger surface combatants, okay? And in this particular case, the Udaloy, a lot of people complain that it's hard to get missiles through to hit the Udaloy and sink her. And if we don't want to waste our harpoons on that, it's totally viable at this point to use our 5-inch guns to sink her. And this is also Kravac, and I'll show you that we can sink her as well. The major issue here is I've got 0 SM1s because basically I weathered the storm of their Silex missiles. So the Kravac's got 4 Silex missiles, the Udaloy has 8. When you go against those missiles, I think the furthest out they could shoot at you is like 27 nautical miles, right? So if you could withstand that barrage, there is nothing else that they can do at that point to hurt you. Okay, so you don't have to use your harpoons. You can just gun it towards them and use your 5-inch guns. The great advantage that the U.S. forces have versus the Soviet ships is the AK-100 range. If we look, it's 11.3 or 11.4. AK-100, yeah, 11.3 nautical miles, and the U.S. 5-inch, at least for the Mark 45 gun, it's going to be 12.4. There we go. So we've got a range advantage on them, okay? And if you think about it, we're nullifying their advantage that they have with their SAM systems to shoot down any anti-ship missiles or anti-surface missiles. You cannot shoot down a 5-inch round, all right? You can't shoot a 76-inch round down. So if we want to save our missiles for further use later on, then we can go ahead and use our 5-inch. So let's demonstrate that. It's important when you are using the guns and going against a larger surface combatant, you have to monitor the range really closely, and also you have to kind of think about the setup of their guns. So the Udaloy has those 2 AK-100 guns facing forward. Okay, you see them right there? And they've got the flight deck back up, so they don't have a gun back there. The Kravac, we don't see on the screen there, that I can't click over to them. They actually have a strange setup where their 2 5-inch or their 2 AK-100 guns face completely astern. So think about how you set up your gun kills here. When we're going against the Udaloy, we want to engage further out or from the stern. But in this case, right now, we're setting it up pretty well to sink the Kravac with guns, and it will be in a position where they cannot fire at us if they continue to go put their bow towards us. Alright, so we need to collapse this is actually the best setup that we can possibly ask for at the moment. Udaloy is turning away and the guns aren't facing us. Now they will be able to. So we can pull away this way. Try and get a good gun line going. Alright, so we can skirt past these guys. Also, in this little scenario, we just have a ton of little merchant ships and stuff, so it wouldn't be viable for us to use harpoons, and we'd be forced to use our SM1s, but like I said, we might not want to waste our SM1 missiles against other vessels, because if we're talking about persistent campaigns that are coming in the future and a dynamic campaign coming in the future, the ammo counts will matter, and certainly if you use all your missiles in one scenario, what's going to happen is you might have won that battle, but you've been taken out of the theater basically because you have to go to some friendly port to rearm. Okay, so I am going to tell him to engage. Now we can see the Kravac. We got a better look. So this is the Silex launcher up forward, and the two guns are back aft. Unlike the Udaloy, we've got the two guns up forward, and then that flight deck back aft, like I showed you. All right. So this is great. We've got a broadside going against the Kravac, and it's not going to be long until she gets some hits on her. In fact, you can see us out there, right there. That's us firing. When you're using your guns also, it's good to slow down if you can help it. So we're going to take some close control of this guy, and I'm going to want him to go against the Udaloy. Alright, Kravac is hit. Because depending on some of these hits, they're not going to be extremely damaging. I notice a lot of hits kind of topside don't do much, but I have seen it where you just get some sort of lucky shot and the fire, the hit causes a massive fire and subsequent explosions happen not too long afterwards. So we'll monitor this. This is a great thing about a lot of these destroyers. They've got the two 5-inch guns, so you can certainly use them to get the volume of fire up and sink those ships. I believe on the Mark 45s, their ready turret ammo is 20 rounds, I think, and then it takes about a minute to reload that once that's all gone. And you're looking about 20 rounds per minute, I think, so about a round every 5 seconds. Alright, we'll let them maneuver. Yeah, there we go. Kravac's already on fire. And we haven't wasted a single anti-ship missile to do that. Udaloy. Oh, she is, once this guy gets in range, it's going to be not long before Udaloy is going to face the same fate. I'd love to see it. Alright, I think we're going to have to take some manual control. We can hit X to cease fire there and then just drive the ship to get into a better position. If we're looking at the direction that we think the ship is going, you can use just like the basic maneuvering geometry. We want to be in a lead so we can close it faster. And then kind of going this way, the closure won't be so great because they're pulling away from the track. Look at that. On fire. Kind of struggling to make way, I think, now. And we are comfortable going 1/3, just pumping rounds into her. Yeah, at this point, I wonder seriously if these guns can even fire at this point. Alright, let's close that angle a little bit. Another hits, it sounded like. Yeah, this fire's getting pretty extensive up forward here. Alright, we're looking at, we need 12.4 and we can start firing. Getting close to it, alright, so now we'll go ahead and do that. Once we got some, there we go. And then we'll tell them to slow down to 1/3 so that way we can get a better stable platform. Look at that, Kravac is sunk. Completely done in by the 5-inch. Go ahead and get the kid to turn around and then fire a 5-inch at him as well. Alright. Udaloy is getting peppered at the moment. So yeah, just these 8 Silex missiles are what you have to weather. We were able to do that with these 2 SM shooters. SM1 MRs, I believe, is what they've got. If you can close the distance and withstand the Silex barrage, then you should be alright. And this is just for this scenario to show you how to do it and work with the guns. It wasn't meant to be like a typical scenario. In a typical scenario, you might have another cruiser with you or another missile platform to defend against that missile barrage more successfully, I guess. We had to use 50 something SM-1 missiles to withstand that barrage. Just how the AI fires that stuff. Basically what it was doing is firing missiles when the boost phase was happening with the Silex missiles, then they would disappear. Those missiles would go stupid. We'd lose them completely. Then the missiles would be redetected kind of closer to us, and then we'd fire some more missiles at it. So it was really wasteful. However, this is just a demonstration of how we can just use our guns. Now, Udaloy's doing the terrible thing here and driving away. So she's not able to put her 5-inch guns to bear on us at the moment. Well, she might be, but she's just not in range, so... Okay, we can pull away this way. We gotta watch that range. Remember, we don't want that to be 11.3 because then she'll be able to fire. Unless we're in a position where we're astern of her, then she can't do anything, right? So this is great. Slow down to 1/3. Mod will slow down to 1/3 as well. And then Udaloy is... Oh yeah. Slowing that down just a tad. It's a little bit too noisy. So look at that. Yeah, this is requiring minimal effort at this point. Really, once they get to the point where they slow down and because of the damage, it's done. They're done. You know, they're not going to get out of putting out all those fires as you're continuing to pump 5-inch at them. And the great thing about the 5-inch is, I don't know if you noticed the ammo count before, but there was over 1,000 rounds of it. Okay, and it just takes a few good hits to really mess up one of these ships. You just see her all ablaze there now. She's not moving anymore. It's become really easy. Now think about your experiences going against the Udaloy using Harpoons and how frustrating that is. And look at this. She's not doing much against us. Okay. Yeah, it's just what I like to see here. I mean, we've got a good old-fashioned destroyer gun line. See if I can get some good shots. Yeah, the main takeaway that you guys should get from this is you have to be aware of the offensive missile systems that they'll use against you. Oh, there we go, it's over. The offensive missile systems that they'll use against you from their surface ships, and figure out how many they have. If you know that information, it's incredibly valuable. And then understand the ranges of the other systems, like the SAM systems that can also be dual purpose used. If you know something like the Udaloy or the Kravac doesn't have the SSAN, was it 1 with the 16 nautical mile range, at that point you're free to just dive right in and get within gun range of 12.4 nautical miles, and know that you have to be careful though. You've got to look at the system ranges for these guns. AK-100s, their range is 11.3 compared to our 12.4. But they do have a different gun system also. That's a double-barreled 130 mil gun system. I can't remember the range of it, but you'll have to double check against that before rolling in. But yeah, we completely sank her with 5-inch. She really wasn't able to do much, and we preserved all our Harpoons on both of our ships. We did use SMs to have to close the gap, but that's a lot easier when you're in the typical scenario when you're with other ships. This was just 2 versus 2, just to show you the viability of using your 5-inch guns. Okay, so if there's any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll get to them as soon as possible. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye!